Greetings family, peace and love to you and yours. This is Guru and thanks for visiting my channel. Family, this video is about former Kern County Sheriff deputies who avoid prison for selling marijuana seized in drug raids. Two former Kern County Sheriff deputies avoided prison time Monday for stealing and then selling marijuana that was seized during drug busts. Logan August and Derek Penny were sentenced Monday to 3 years probation for the charge of conspiracy to distribute and possession with the intent to distribute marijuana, according to the U.S. Attorney Office in Fresno. Logan August, a 30-year-old Bakersfield resident, was also ordered to serve 1,500 hours of community service and forfeit $16,500 earned in the trafficking operation, federal authorities said. Derek Penny, a 34-year-old Star, Idaho resident, must serve 250 hours in community service and surrender $1,200, federal authorities said. Now, before I move in, I just want to comment on the fact that these two white individuals have gotten away with white privilege. This is a prime example. From now on, I think it's important that we start really focusing and highlighting the white privilege that these people get, because I don't know about you, but I'm really kind of sick and tired of some of these white racists and these other white creatures who come to my station and then they say, there's no white privilege, and then you got a few black coons out there who even side with them and says that there's no white privilege. Well, this is an example of that. How many black men or women that you know that have been busted selling marijuana or any other drug and have gotten probation? No jail time. How many do you know? Yeah, a big fat zero. But yet we've seen time after time where these white police officers, so-called police officers, they're disguising themselves as police officers, who on the force and while on the force earning a living, they partake in criminal activities. And these two creatures were partaking in stealing drugs from drug busts, then turning around and using it for their benefit. And then they have the nerve to get up on TV or in the news and then plead their case and say how sorry they are and whatnot. No, what they're sorry about is they're sorry that they got caught, because if it wasn't for that, there would be no apology. So that apology is BS. Their lawyers got them off from doing jail time or prison time like most black and brown men and women have to do. You see the white privilege? If you don't, you're blind. Hell, Stevie Wonder can see the white privilege going on. So when they come and they say there is no white privilege, this is a prime example of what white privilege looks like. What it looks like is when you're out there being a white person and you do a crime like selling marijuana, stealing, well, first of all, stealing it and then selling it, and then you get caught, you get a slap on the wrist. No jail time, no prison time. See how white privilege works? It works just fine for you racist people. And that's why we bring it up and why we speak on it. Because we want you to know that we see what you're doing. We know exactly what it is. White privilege is when you're a 18-year-old or 19-year-old kid, and I forget the boy's name, from Stafford, who raped the girl behind a trash bin, and then he gets 6 months in jail because the white judge who looked at his white face, the kid's white face, felt sorry for him, didn't want him to, well, go down the wrong road, having to go to prison or jail. So even though he raped a girl, the fact that he was white, he got the privilege card, the white privilege card, and he only got 6 months in jail. But I digress. Back to this story here. So basically, these former deputies were facing up to 5 years in prison for the offense. The defendants in this case caused a significant breach of the public's trust when they committed these crimes, U.S. Attorney Philip A. Talbert said in a statement. Not only did they betray the community they were sworn to serve, but also their fellow hardworking officers who protect the Kern County community every day. Well, I just want to say that the way white supremacy works is they don't even want to look any further than just these two. They're happy with just finding out that it was these two. And since they got these two, they probably aren't even going to investigate any further on the rest. Even though we know it's probably systemic within Kern County. But that's just my opinion. I wonder who turned their eyes and who turned their back when these guys were committing these crimes. I wonder who did that. So, the former deputies were accused of working with former Bakersfield police detective Patrick Mara and others to steal marijuana from the Kern County Sheriff's Office storage unit, according to federal court documents. The plot transpired between June 2014 and October 2014, according to the documents. Federal authorities said the group planned to sell the cannabis, which had been previously seized by police during drug operations on private and public properties. August was assigned to the sheriff's major vendor narcotics unit and participated in drug busts. Penny was a member of the sheriff's gang suppression section investigations unit. Well, I would hope that the United States District Attorney that oversaw this case maybe looked back at other cases these officers were involved with. Because I hate to say, but people of color who might have been victims of these two thug criminals, maybe their cases should be overturned, at least looked at under a microscope. Anytime you have bad so-called police officers and these two are criminals, then I believe the state should be looking at cases they were involved with. That's the right thing to do. Again, white privilege is what's going on here. It needs to be put in check. Both officers had department-issued access cards which they used to enter the storage unit, according to the U.S. Attorney's Office. Once inside, they tossed the marijuana plants and buds into trash bags, federal authorities said. After stealing the marijuana from the storage unit, they had it trimmed so it could be sold. August then handed the 8 pounds of marijuana to a confidential informant who sold it for him, federal authorities said. So they involved another person who was a confidential informant. August shared his earnings with Penny, each receiving about $1,200 according to federal prosecutors. Now that's a lie. They earn way more money than that, I'm sure. They're only telling you that's how much they earn. I'm sure if they did a little bit more digging over the course of time, they'd find out it was far more than just $1,200. Listen, the marijuana industry is over $1 billion industry, and you mean to tell me that they had 8 pounds and they're only talking about that they only got $1,200? Somebody's lying. These two creatures are lying. They're already criminals, so you're gonna trust some criminals, huh? That's how white privilege works. Again, white privilege needs to be put in check. August also gave a portion of his proceeds to Mara, who is about to begin a 5-year federal prison sentence in a separate case, authorities said. Mara, a 13-year Bakersfield police veteran, admitted to stealing meth from drug dealers during traffic stops. So this other police officer, Mara, he also was stealing drugs, but he was stealing meth. These guys are criminal thugs, and again, white privilege is keeping them out of prison. Federal authorities said August took the marijuana from drug busts on 10 separate occasions and gave his informant about 25 pounds of cannabis. After the marijuana was sold, he received thousands of dollars, according to federal prosecutors. In February 2016, the deputies voluntarily visited FBI offices in Bakersfield and confessed to stealing the marijuana, according to federal court documents. So, they pleaded guilty in May for their roles in the trafficking operations. That same month, August recorded a video message entitled, "I am sorry," during which he apologized to Kern County residents, law enforcement officials, and anybody I had ever worked with that wears the badge that I disgraced. At least this man has a conscience. I'm glad to hear that. Nonetheless, seated with his wife, August talked directly to the camera during the nearly 7-minute YouTube video, saying Satan was playing games with him. How nice that is. White privilege blames his actions on Satan. How convenient. And how white of you. The white tears that are flowing. I made a horrible decision, he said. It was nobody else's fault. Nobody influenced me to do it. I made that decision based on Satan playing games with me and making me feel like I was prideful and unable to go to family members for help. Yeah, sounds like an excuse. Quote, I do not judge people by mistakes they have made. I've never lived that way and I was never trained that way, Wonderly wrote. Mistakes by Logan and Derek do not define them and will never compare to the amazing achievements they have accomplished in their lives. Yeah, I can imagine the amazing achievements of maybe setting up other people with drugs. After all, we've seen it happen in other states where so-called police officers plant drugs. That's right. We've seen the videos. It's a fact. It's in the news today, as a matter of fact. I just got finished reading an article about the situation. We've seen the videos, too, of police officers planting drugs. This is all just despicable. I'm going to play the video now. And for those of you who are watching this, coming to my video talking about why you talk so much before the video, you have options. Get the F off now if you don't like it.
KCSO deputies tied to stealing pot from an evidence room before selling it were in federal court today, pleading guilty to those charges. 23 ABC's Ken Basenchi was in Fresno for those hearings and has both attorneys' reactions to their clients' pleas.
Yeah, good evening. The attorneys for Logan August and Derek Penny say they are fully prepared to make the case why both should receive no jail time and say that this could be the end to the drug scandal started by Patrick Mara and Damasio Diaz.
As far as Derek Penny knows, this is it.
I believe that my client and Mr. Penny are perhaps the last two individuals.
Perhaps. Still many questions surrounding how deep the drug scandal involving KCSO and BPD goes. But we do know former deputies Logan August and Derek Penny played a role.
We think is the least involved of any police officer in this case. Indeed, if it weren't for Mr. Penny, there wouldn't have been as many police officers that came forth.
Today, Penny and August pleaded guilty to conspiring to distribute marijuana, including stealing confiscated marijuana from the department in 2014. Penny gave a short statement after his hearing.
My attorney has asked me to not say anything at this time. I'll be more than happy to talk with the media or talk with anybody else after sentencing, answer whatever questions that you have at that time.
August did not speak today, but earlier this month he published this apology video on YouTube.
I just want to say sorry to you guys because this is despicable.
A video his attorney David Torres did not seem pleased about.
I'm not going to comment on the video at this particular time. That was a past, and this is now going to be the future.
A future where August and
Pathetic.
Penny face up to 5 years in prison, though both attorneys will recommend only probation.
To ask for it and to be able to substantiate it are two different things. But I do believe that in the amount of time that I am given to prepare for sentencing, that more likely than not I will be able to fashion something.
Damasio Diaz and Patrick Mara are already serving their 5-year prison sentences, ones that were called lenient by Kern County administrators. But Torres says he isn't worried about what the public would think if his client doesn't serve jail time.
I don't work for the media. I work for my client. My client is the person who I have my utmost loyalty to. Ultimately, the decision is up to the judge. And if the judge decides to go, and if the judge decides to issue a sentence of no jail time, that'll be fine with me, and certainly that'll be fine with my client and his family as well.
Penny are scheduled to be sentenced here in Fresno on August 7th. And for a full recap on their crime, you can visit our website or go to our mobile and tablet app.
And so lastly, family, that was August 7th was yesterday. They were sentenced, and again, both of them were sentenced to 3 years probation for conspiracy to distribute and sell marijuana. That's white privilege for you. They get no jail time. That's despicable. This is Guru. I'm going to end it off here. Thanks for watching. Peace and love to you and yours. If you haven't already subscribed, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any future videos. See you in the next one. Take care.